Madam President, during the worst recession since the Great Depression, which we are now fortunately coming out of, the highest the unemployment rate ever got, even at the depths of that recession, for people with a college degree, was 4.5%. We saw unemployment rates of 18%, 20% for certain groups of people, 4.5% if you're a college graduate. It seems to me that in view of that, in light of that, first of all, that is an incredible stress test of the value of a college degree in this 21st century that we're living in. And we ought to be making it easier, not harder, for students to go to college. However, as you know, interest rates on federal student loans are scheduled to double from 3.4% to 6.8% on July 1st, unless Congress can get out of its own way and do the right thing. And for the life of me, I don't know why we can't come to an agreement on this. This isn't a Democratic or Republican issue. The cost of college has increased 550% since 1985. 2/3 of students in this country rely on loans to afford college. And in the past decade, average student loan debt has increased by more than 25%. This, by the way, is not a function of people not doing the right thing. It's a function of the fact that median family income has continued to decline in this country for the first time in this country's history, while the cost of college has escalated like crazy. And if this increase goes through, it would add thousands of dollars of debt to the more than 166,000 Coloradans who currently receive federal student loans. Increasing loans for students already struggling to repay their loans harms both individual students and our fragile economy. Madam President, when I visited the University of Colorado at Denver just last month, I heard firsthand from students about how important low interest rates are to their ability to afford college. Many of the students I heard from were worried that their student loan debt would prevent them from achieving their career goals or buying a house or making other decisions that they're confronting. In Colorado, the average student graduates with more than $23,500 in debt. Just in the last hour, Jeremiah shared the following story with me on Facebook. This is less than an hour ago. He wrote, "I'm studying geography and environmental science with an emphasis in urban studies and planning at the University of Colorado, Denver. I'm the first of my family to attend college, and 100% of my schooling is paid for by grants and student loans. I worry about the interest rate hike that's bound to happen this summer, and with the economy not in full recovery. I worry even more about securing a job after graduation and how to afford repayment of my loans, especially if interest rates are to increase." Madam President, as you probably know, in your state and my state, college attendance is actually at a record high because there are young people all over this country, certainly in my state, that have sought refuge from an economy that doesn't have jobs for them on our university campuses, which is a great place for them to be. It's a great investment in them and a great investment in our future. But for Jeremiah and for thousands of others, millions of other students just like him, we're threatening through our inaction to actually drive up the cost of college when that's where they need to be. And that's the reason why in the past 2 weeks, more than 1,300 Coloradans have written to my office to demand that Congress act to prevent the student loan interest rate from doubling. Here's just one letter I received from Kim Haas, who's from Granby, Colorado. She wrote, "While I try to keep informed, I don't generally make a point to contact my representatives. On the issue of student loan rates doubling, I had to speak up. My husband and I live in rural Colorado. I have been working toward becoming a professional counselor. Because of our remote location, I've done most of this online while staying home with my son. This takes a lot of self-motivation and time management skills. It also means taking on a lot of debt. Please take actions necessary to prevent my rates from doubling. It's imperative to our financial, vocational, and life success." Her life success. I suspect that most of these students aren't all that interested in what party affiliation they're in. And I think that if they were here on this floor, which is empty today, they could use some Colorado common sense to actually get this done. And in the Senate in Washington today, we're facing a filibuster, even though we know in the end we're going to find a way to do the right thing here and keep these interest rates from rising. So once again, I urge my colleagues, Democrats and Republicans, to come together and give our students all across the country the security that they need to pursue their education. For them, this isn't a game. For the people that came to the University of Colorado at Denver a month ago and shared their thoughts with me, this isn't a game. This is real life. It's their lives. It's their futures. And they're relying on us to sort this out and get it done, and we should. Thank you, Madam President. I wanted to come back to the floor because the Facebook page continues to get updated. Phil Townsend wrote in, and I thought with a prescient question about what we're focused on here today. And here's how Phil put it. If you had a loan that would take you a decade to pay off, even if you had lived as cheap as possible and only ate ramen noodles, would you want its rate doubled? This is real life for the people we represent, and we should get this sorted out. With that, Madam President, I yield the floor and note the absence of a quorum.